An 84-year-old man from Missouri has pleaded not guilty to charges relating to the shooting of teenager Ralph Yarl.
Andrew Lester now charged with first-degree assault and armed criminal action. He's accused of shooting the 16-year-old Yarl when he mistakenly came to the wrong address and rang Lester's doorbell. Criminal defense attorney Donte Mills is with us now. First, tell us how Andrew Lester's defense team will argue that he's not guilty of what he's being charged with, considering the circumstances.
Yeah, so let's talk about the charges. He was charged with first-degree assault and with armed criminal action. The penalty for that is life in prison. And I know a lot of people were questioning why was he not charged with attempted murder. But that first-degree assault charge carries a stiffer penalty. And in fact, it's easier to prove there than the attempted murder case, because with attempted murder, you have to talk about what was in someone's mind before they acted. So what's going to happen is, now that the arraignment is done, Mr. Lester's criminal defense team stated that he was not guilty. He pled not guilty, and they're going to try and move forward with some type of defense. You have to assume that there's going to be some kind of self-defense theory. However, the difficulty with that is going to be that he shot Ralph Yarl through a door. We're not talking about a situation where Mr. Yarl had direct access or was inside of his home, which is generally where the self-defense comes in, where you can say, I felt like I was under threat. I felt like I was under direct threat. So I responded accordingly. I don't know if we have a situation here that meets that threshold, but it's clear that once they pled not guilty, that's what Mr. Lester's attorneys are going to do.
Donte, that's really interesting, your point about first-degree assault, because a lot of people have been wondering about that charge. As you said, attempted murder, you have to prove the intent. With first-degree assault, what does the prosecution need to prove in order to make that charge stick?
Well, it's a very basic charge. They're going to have to show that, in fact, the battery or that assault did happen. And here it's clear that it did. Ralph Yarl was shot twice, once in the temple and then once in his upper arm. But when you have a claim, or the prosecution has a charge, the defendant then has the ability to insert a defense, and that's where the self-defense would come in. But you don't have to show what was in the mind of the person committing the crime. You just have to show that the crime was, in fact, committed. And I think we have clear evidence of that. It's just a matter of whether or not a defense negates that.
All right, so you're saying there's clear evidence of what is being charged here. We only know what's been reported. Yarl has his injuries. There's the kind of physical evidence as well. So all that considered, how strong is the prosecution's case?
I believe it's very strong. I mean, on its face, the elements of the charge are there, right? We understand that a gun was fired, that the bullets of the gun struck Ralph Yarl twice. So the elements of that charge are met. It's going to be whether or not that defense holds up. But the issues of the defense are going to be, was there a reasonable assumption that there was a threat to Mr. Lester's life? He said that there was someone at his door. He felt threatened because of the size of that person. But then you look at the facts of Mr. Yarl being 5'8", 140 pounds. Does that add up? That is going to factor in. Mr. Lester said that, he was concerned about the area and things like that. So all of that is going to factor in. And if it gets to a jury, they're going to have to decide if Mr. Lester's fear was reasonable. Mm-hmm. And if the reasonableness of that fear meant that he was entitled to fire his weapon at Mr. Yarl.
All right, we'll continue to watch this closely. Donte Mills, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.